The dust has now settled on the coaching carousel, assuming that Clint Kubiak does follow through with the unofficial and unenforceable commitment to become coach of the Raiders. We have 10 new coaches. We have one minority hire in Robert Saleh, and we have 0 black head coaches in this cycle.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Now, I have a feeling we're going to have more to say about this tomorrow because the commissioner undoubtedly will be asked about it at his Super Bowl press conference later today. There's a statement from the Fritz Pollard Alliance, which has been around for 20 years or longer to promote diversity in the consideration and promotion of minority coaching candidates. Said the Fritz Pollard Alliance, this hiring cycle produced 10 head coaching openings across the league. Only one was filled by a coach of color and none by black candidates. That outcome does not reflect the depth, breadth, or quality of talent in today's coaching pipeline, nor does it represent meaningful progress toward the NFL's stated commitment to be fair and inclusive in its hiring practices.
Yeah.
So,
well, Vance Josephs of the world, the Brian Floreses of the world, they should be head coaches, and they're not. And so there's something wrong with that inherently, right, that I look at to go, yeah, there's something there that we could dive into. And then, of course, too, it just seems like we have more of the really quality black coaches on the defensive side of the ball. And then the league wants to go offense all the time.
There were 4 defensive coordinators.
Right, I know. So this was a little bit more. Right.
4 hired.
But I'm just saying in general, it's everybody's kind of looking for that offense.
That's been part of it. And look, part of it's the pipeline of offensive coordinators.
Yep.
So if you're going to become a head coach, you need to be a successful offensive coordinator. And if there isn't sufficient representation, and look, 70% of the league's players are black.
Yeah.
And this has been a historical problem. So many people, and this is part of the issue. We don't have a whole lot of time to delve into it, and I wish we did, and maybe we will eventually. In the current climate, this is the perfect time for this kind of thing because the administration has transformed DEI into a dirty word.
Yeah.
And the Rooney Rule is the centerpiece of the NFL's effort at diversity, equity, inclusion.
Right.
And it still exists, but I feel like it's easier. And I'm not casting aspersions here. I'm just looking at numbers. And the numbers have always spoken for themselves in the NFL. Troy Vincent, the NFL Executive VP of Football Operation, had extensive quotes that are in the Brian Flores lawsuit that was filed 4 years ago yesterday. They're in there, and they're damning.
Right.
It has always been this way. It has always been a problem. There's a double standard, and there are quality black coaches that aren't getting opportunities.
Agreed there.
That is a given.
Right.
But in this climate, you start hearing people, well, where are all the white cornerbacks? That kind of stuff. Like, it's always a what about game. It's always moving the goalpost.
Yeah, the white cornerbacks generally aren't fast enough and can't cover. That's just the fact of the matter.
It's a different analysis.
I know. It's a different tree. It's bullcrap.
It becomes caught up in all the same red, blue divisiveness that has become so characteristic of our life. But the problem is, in this climate, it's easier for the owners because the problem is the owners. They're the ones who are hiring the guys presumably with whom they feel most comfortable.
Right.
And that's how you get, and maybe that's the problem.
Well, come on.
There needs to be greater representation of minorities among ownership.
That's the start of the whole problem. I mean,
but
again,
as the values of the teams keep going up and up, where do you find somebody who's got the money? It's harder and harder to find anyone.
Right.
On the planet with the kind of money to buy a team.
Well, you mean you're down the first right path of the whole thing. I mean, one, it's about, like we just talked about, it's the 10th father-son. It's become a family business. So that's one thing, right? There is that. It's about connections, and yes, within that, there's more white coaches out there. There's more familiarity within the white circle because of lack of color, black GMs or ownership in black. So all of that, it leads to the coaching. The coaching itself is more white, right, than the league is as far as the players are concerned. So that's the first aspect. And then, there's, hey, I knew this guy and I knew him when he was young. So I knew his dad and I knew him before, I knew him when he was young. So there is that comfort there. And yet, but the thing that I think we're bothered by is, unlike when the idiots online go, well, where are there more white corners? It goes, no, that's all in performance space, and they can't perform.
It's
That's
objective.
Why. Right.
It's objective.
It's objective.
It's undeniable.
The other one is not totally rooted in that. Vance Joseph is, without a doubt, one of the 3 or 4 best defensive minds in the sport. Brian Flores is probably the best defensive mind in the sport. And that's where we get annoyed, because now it doesn't seem as, what would I say, subjective there or objective?
Yeah, no,
it's not as...
It's too subjective and it's too easy.
Yeah, right.
Right, but it makes it less subjective when you can point to defensive performance.
Yes, right.
And say, look at what this guy can do with the team.
Right.
And the reality is this, because I understand that we are manipulated by forces beyond our power to fight about everything. And I'm a firm believer that so much of the division that's gone on in the country over the past 10 years is the product of forces that manipulate us to fight. And the sooner we all wake up to that, the sooner maybe we stop fighting.
Yeah.
But here's my point. This isn't something that falls within the realm of things on which reasonable minds can differ. The objective numbers proven out over decades make it clear that whatever the reason, whatever the causes, whatever the stew of all the potential factors that could lead us to this point, it is a toxic brew that the NFL has created. And D. Smith, the former NFLPA executive director, made the case 3 years ago in an item for the Yale Law and Policy Review. There's no accountability.
Yeah,
There's no governmental oversight.
Right.
There's no client-customer blowback. You just keep doing what you do. And look at the Brian Flores lawsuit. It's been stuck for 4 years at square one.
Yeah, right.
So when they get sued, they circle the wagons, they throw money at it, and they never face true accountability for it, other than words. And that's why I think the Troy Vincent comments from 4 years ago that were in the Brian Flores lawsuit are so powerful, because it's the closest they've ever come to being accountable for decades of numbers that you just look at and say, well, that can't be right.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And listen, in a year or two where usually it's trendy, this is where, to me, it's a little annoying, okay? And I know that it's rooted in connections. That it is more than that, and familiarity and feeling comfortable. But we're in a Super Bowl, again, where we're talking about it's two defensive head coaches. Like, usually that stuff kind of catches on fire where, like, the owners and the GMs are like, man, the defensive coaches, maybe the NFL's trending this way a little bit, which I do think it is. I think we're in the midst of that a little bit here. Right? I mean, we're seeing defensive teams in the Super Bowl a lot. I know Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl a bunch, but we talked about the last few years, the Chiefs' offense ain't been that good. They've been a defensive football team. I would even go into that a little bit with the 49ers and some of those teams. They're very balanced, but their defenses have been phenomenal that way. We know the Eagles are phenomenal on defense. That's where I'm just shocked that, like, Brian Flores and Vance Joseph weren't closer to becoming head coaches.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.